And welcome to another episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
And joining us tonight is James, the Fresh Prince of Philly from the Birds on Broad Street podcast. James, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight. I can't wait to talk football.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been kind of a crazy week since the last time we were on air last Monday. The Eagles have obviously hired a new head coach, Nick Sirianni, former offensive coordinator from the Indianapolis Colts. Just real quick, right off the shoot here, what are your guys' initial thoughts? Eric, I'll start with you.
Thumbs up on the hire. I love it. I think this guy's got a good pedigree. He's young, and I think he's going to be very relatable to the players, and you need that in the locker room today. And he's got a history of being able to help quarterbacks with some accuracy issues. So I think that this just bodes well for Carson Wentz. I think it bodes well for the receivers. He's been a receiver coach everywhere else he's been. And so, I think he is going to help in some areas that the Eagles have been sorely lacking in the last few years.
Great. James?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was an unpopular opinion at first. Nobody really expected him to come out. He kind of just took the job out of nowhere. He didn't really become a serious candidate until, days before. But I thought it was a great hire. I think, Carson Wentz really struggled last year with just pocket presence. He seemed like a shot quarterback. And then you're bringing in Nick Sirianni, somebody who worked with Frank Reich. Frank Reich can kind of give him the keys to Carson Wentz's success. And I just think the NFL is trending in a young and innovative offensive way. So to bring in a guy in here who can bring in his own staff that are around 30 years old, I think it's a great opportunity for the Eagles to just get out of this major disconnect that they were in last year because everybody just wanted different things. So just to be able to turn the fresh page and kind of salvage Carson Wentz, I think it's going to be fun next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely think it kind of came out of left field. It seemed like Josh McDaniels was the lead dog there for a few days.
Well, if you remember what we said last week, if it wasn't done by, I think we said by the end of the week, but I was really leaning towards by Wednesday of last week. If it wasn't McDaniels by then it wasn't going to be McDaniels.
Yeah, no, agreed. He just was the clear front runner, and if for whatever reason, if he wasn't hired, it definitely boded not well for him to be hired, and obviously that was the case. Now, so far this week after the Sirianni hire, we've had some other coaching updates. We have had a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, and I believe a few positional coaches. Obviously, notable names that are no longer going to be here is Deuce Staley. I think everyone and their mother seem to be pretty upset about that. I'm all right with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm upset about it. I wish him well. I mean, he never did anything bad in the organization, but hey, he wants another opportunity. The Eagles don't really want to give it to him, so God bless. Go get the better opportunity if you can.
Yeah, Deuce is a player's coach, and I respect the hell out of him. I loved him while he was here, but the Eagles obviously didn't value him, and they weren't ready to give him a higher role. So it's a business. I'm going to trust him to make that decision. And, yeah, like you said, I wish him the best wherever he goes. He's going to Detroit, so I wish him the best in Detroit.
Right.
Yeah, well, he's going to need it. Although they do have a very good young running back in DeAndre Swift. But it says volumes to me that he basically took a lateral move.
I think he was expecting something bigger, when he did that.
Well, I think there had been reports out there that he had been offered the offensive coordinator position at one point in time, perhaps when Frank Reich left, and declined it at that time, is what the report was saying. So, I mean, I can't really blame him, for wanting to leave at this point. But it seemed like he kind of had his chance and didn't really grasp it. So, not really sure anything more than that.
Yeah, that's actually the first I heard of that he had been offered the OC job and turned it down. That's curious.
It is. I'd like to know more about it, but we, ultimately probably won't ever find out anything more than just that. So what are you guys' thoughts on new defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon? Obviously, spent some time with Sirianni in Indianapolis, defensive backs coach. Any thoughts on that there, James?
The one thing that scares me is I hear from everything I read that he's a more aggressive, defensive coordinator. So you're going to be playing a lot of blitz and man-to-man, and I'm not sure if I trust anybody outside of Darius Slay covering people on the outside. So unless you're going to invest in Surtain in the first-round pick, I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet. I would love for the Eagles defense to be more aggressive, unlike Schwartz was. Schwartz didn't really blitz that much. Maybe it'll give a new feel to this defense. But, right now I do like the hire. I'm just not sure if he has the players to work with yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. He was also in Minnesota before Indianapolis, and in fact was the assistant defensive backs coach, I believe, on the sideline when the Eagles whooped up on the Vikings 38-7 NFC Championship game.
Got to throw that in there.
Right, of course, naturally. But he also had, a few decent defensive backs there, one of being Xavier Rhodes, who had one of his best seasons under Gannon. So I'm hoping that if we end up not going Surtain in the first round, we can get somebody like him to maybe come in, be that number 2 and thrive under Gannon.
Right. And I also wonder about, the guys in-house that could benefit from Gannon, the corners in particular. Because it seems like the Eagles had, or over the last couple of years have had, a number of guys who seemed real good in that nickel spot. And then, of course, they add Slay for that number 1 spot. Haven't really had a number 2 outside corner. My opinion on Vontae Maddox is not the answer there.
Nope.
And they're going to have to figure that out, like you said, whether that be Surtain in the draft or somebody. If it's not Surtain in the first round and you're going to go draft, it's got to be somebody in the second round. Because
Asante Samuel's son, he could be available in the second round.
I was going to say that's the hot name in the second round. I'd certainly be all right if they went, elsewhere in the first and tried to grab him in the second, or even if they had to move up. But I think they have a lot of possibilities. One thing I definitely wanted to get your guys' opinion on is now with Sirianni here, what if you had to choose right now? What quarterback do you think is staying? If maybe both, I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with Hurts and Wentz? Eric, I'll start with you.
I think they're both still going to be here next year, and I think Carson Wentz is the starter week 1.
Okay. Then you don't? Do you think they're going to try to trade any of them, or
they might? They might try to trade Hurts. I think at the end they're going to still look at it. He was a second-round pick. We're not going to I don't think you're getting second-round value for him. At least not if you do it on draft night. I just once you get closer to the draft, teams just covet those picks so much. I don't think you're going to get more than a third at this point. I think the Eagles end up not pulling the trigger.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to agree. I think they're both going to be here next year. And obviously, I want to roll with Wentz. I think he's the number 1 guy. And the reason I think they don't trade Jalen Hurts is because then that's basically admitting that Howie was wrong for that second-round pick. And I don't think he wants that on his face going into next season. That he was
I'm
wrong.
comfortable admitting that. Just saying.
Howie will do anything and everything to avoid admitting a mistake, whether it be by his actions or his words. I think that they may try to make a move for one of them.
I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try to shop. I think they're going to try to shop Hurts. I just don't think that he's going to get what he perceives as equal value for him.
Maybe not. But I would have to believe Sirianni means Wentz would be the guy.
Yeah. All the moves they've made, it kind of points to Wentz so far.
Right. And especially hiring their new offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Over the next couple of weeks, we'll all learn how to pronounce it.
We'll definitely have to learn that one. It was funny. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio the other day, and your pal Jamie was pronouncing Soriano or Soriani, something. Not
yeah. I know. I caught that, and I sent him a message like, "Come on, man."
But Steichen, as I'm pronouncing it, was the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. Side note, that was the first time I actually said Los Angeles first instead of San Diego.
Did to mentally catch yourself there.
You're right. But obviously his big claim to fame right now is the emergence of Justin Herbert and his rapid progression
to hang your hat on
during his rookie year. And again, I think that could bode well for Carson Wentz.
I agree, and I know I said on the show a couple of weeks ago when Doug was first let go that I thought whoever came in here was going to have basically a man crush on Carson Wentz, and I think that turned out to be right. But not that I'd like to pat myself on the back, but
no, God, no, never.
No, I hate doing that.
I think Steichen's main thing is, a lot of people knocked him for his play calling this past season, said he threw too many screens. He ran the ball on third down sometimes, but he was working with a rookie quarterback, and you saw the development of Justin Herbert each and every week. And I hate to say it, but in year 6 of Carson Wentz, that's what you're kind of getting right now, a rookie quarterback again, because of how much he was shot from last year. You need to bring somebody in here who's going to simplify things and make it easier for him and just develop him again, because we all know it. He's broken right now, but we've seen his potential. He can be one of the best in the NFL, and I feel like the Eagles staff do still believe that. You paid the man a lot of money. You got to try. You got to go all in with him.
Yeah, I think these moves have certainly shown that that's the direction they're going. Obviously, financially, they're pretty tied in to Carson Wentz. I think if there was a way, if they got offered, the world and it would work, I think they would definitely pull the trigger. But that's obviously not happening. So their only choice is to kind of move forward with Carson. Maybe see if you can get something for Jalen, and then kind of go ahead and fix some of your other positions. Now, obviously, we had mentioned earlier about the 6th pick, maybe Surtain, but I want to focus on the wide receivers. Not that I thought Aaron Moorhead did a terrible job. He obviously had to deal with a lot of injuries to the position, as many of the positional coaches did. But I feel like, given the track record of Sirianni and Steichen, I feel like wide receivers have excelled under them, and I'm hoping that translates to these young wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles had another
Ryan,
year where a receiver didn't pass over 500 yards. So, it's just very underwhelming, and I really wasn't that excited about the Jalen Reagor pick because I feel like they just don't utilize him in the right way. They don't use him like a Tyreek Hill where you cross him across the field or you get him on some screens or some reverses. I would have loved to see more of that, and I feel like, from watching the Colts offense, seeing the tapes that they do, I feel like the Eagles can instill that more in their playbook this year. But, if we're focusing on the first round, which player I wanted, I mean, at first I wanted Devontae Smith, but from his showing the past, few weeks, I don't think he's going to be there at 6 anymore. I think Miami might try to snag him. And then I think it's possible that Jamar Chase falls to us at 6.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly all right. Hey, Catherine, thanks for checking in. Looks like we dropped Eric, but let's bring him back in. Eric, you okay? You're good? Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you got to add me.
You are added.
Okay.
We were just discussing potential round selections, and obviously the position of wide receiver came up. Right now, given the coaching staff that we kind of have assembled so far, has that changed your mind about what direction you want to go for the 6th pick? All right, Eric's clearly having some issues there. Eric, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I caught like every other word.
Fantastic. Who do you want for the 6th pick?
I'm going to try to jump out and jump back in.
All right. Gotta love it. That is the beauty of doing the video show. You never know when you're going to have some technical difficulties.
Hey, it's been happening all around the world with COVID right now. You know,
There you go.
Hopping in and out of Zoom calls.
Right. Yeah. Well, thankfully, we've been me and Eric have been doing a show for one form or another almost 12 years, and yeah, we've definitely that's technical difficulties. But so right now, are you leaning Devontae Smith? Let's just say he's there. Would you go that route? Would you go another wide receiver in the first round, or would you try to fix the defense?
You know, right now, I feel like if you're bringing in all these offensive-minded gurus, you might as well just throw all your chips on the table. I would like to see them go for a receiver in the first round. I understand that you don't really have that much cap space to improve the defense right now, but you can attack that and address that the rest of the draft. Like, you've seen the Eagles, they have no problem wasting draft picks. So, you know, why not go after your defense in the later rounds? You know, especially because you got Jalen Hurts in the second, then you got Davion Taylor, and Davion Taylor maybe saw 20 snaps all season long.
Such a waste of a pick.
It's just like, it's ridiculous to me. Why not throw all your chips on the table in the first round? Because track history shows that in the later rounds, the Eagles are not going to do too well.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right on that. And considering that there's probably going to be a good amount of changes to the roster just due to financial reasons to try to get under that cap. You know, we might see somebody like a Zach Ertz kind of not be here. You know, you already have the secondary, the second and third running back position kind of in question. And then you have a plethora of young wide receivers who look to have potential, but just maybe aren't fulfilling that potential. And yeah, I think if you go in and hit on one of these guys, you know, that automatically makes them a number one. You have Rager can kind of maybe take some of the pressure off, be in the number two, Ward, Fulgham. That's not a bad 1, 2, 3, 4 right there.
Yeah, no, I would love to see them grow with those four guys. You know, I just want everybody to be on the same page finally, because a lot of guys lobbied for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside when we drafted him, and then he never saw the field. So whoever was putting that starting lineup together obviously didn't feel the same way about him, because he was always on and off the field week after week. So I'd like to see them stay consistent with the four guys if they want there on the field, and then develop them.
Well, yeah, and speaking of somebody like a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I would assume that this is probably going to be his last opportunity to solidify his mark on this team. And obviously you're bringing in guys who can be very helpful to the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm hoping that translates into him being even moderately productive for this Eagles team in 2021. Eric, can you hear us? You're good? All right.
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me all right?
I can hear you. You're a little frozen, but we're good. Yeah. Oh, now we're not. Okay. Well, it's just one of those nights. That's fine.
All right. My biggest fear is I see too many players leave Philadelphia and then have success somewhere else.
Right.
That's what I don't want to happen with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, because when he gets on the field, like, I know a lot of people don't see him having a big impact, but he does all the right things. He blocks aggressively. He's great on the running plays. You know, obviously he doesn't get that many pass opportunities, but very unpopular opinion, I could see him going somewhere else and succeeding.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously saw it slightly last year with Nelson Aguilar going to the Raiders. Now, granted, he didn't certainly, light the world on fire, but he was moderately productive and scored a bunch of touchdowns for them and very timely touchdowns.
Yeah,
and you saw the Eagles fans kind of get, super upset that Aguilar was balling out in Vegas. So I agree. I hate I hate to see other people. I'm happy for them in a very small way, but in a very much larger way, I am very jealous. Eric,
Same thing with Sidney Jones. He did the same thing.
Exactly. Eric, you okay? All right.
Hey, I hope this works. I don't know what the hell the problem is. My internet's been working fine for the last few days, and now looks like me and Xfinity are going to have to fight.
Oh, well, that happens. Well, if you can hear us, that's great. If not,
just looks like it's not my night. I'm getting one out of every like 3 or 4 words.
Okay.
If it kicks me out again, which I'm sure it will, I'm gonna try it on my phone.
Okay. All right, that works, buddy. No worries. It happens. All right. So moving on.
Frustrating me to look very unprofessional, and I don't like it.
It's all right, bud. It happens. It's wow. That's kind of our thing, man. We just we're not very good with technology, and these things kind of happen. Now, obviously, with Sirianni being here, and Deuce leaving, it looks like Jeff Stoutland is going to be staying as offensive line coach, which I couldn't be happier about. There are still a few other positions left to be had or potentially retained, as there are still some coaches that are under contract. Given, I guess, the openings, are there any names maybe that you've seen or you've been wanting for any specific positional coaches, or have you not really heard anything?
Well, I was kind of underwhelmed with the offensive coordinator. I understood it, but I was kind of hoping it would go to a Jim Caldwell, somebody that was like a quarterback guru, a quarterback whisperer, to come out here and fix Wentz. But for the most part, my biggest fear at first with Sirianni is that we were just got another yes man in the building, and he was just going to do everything that Howie and Laurie told him. But so far, it seems like he's bringing in all the guys that he wants to bring in. So I can't be too upset about it. Yeah, some of the names are a little bit underwhelming, but it's just going to be like something that I have to just wait and see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm glad, and everything that I've been hearing is Sirianni has kind of built up himself kind of a network of coaches, of friends in the league, where, other reports have kind of come out regarding Doug and how maybe he didn't really have that kind of network outside of, maybe Andy. So it's nice to see Sirianni kind of plucking, guys here and there. And the fact that we were able to get kind of a lateral move outside of, for the LA Chargers offensive coordinator to come be our coordinator, that certainly is telling that he obviously respected Sirianni and wanted to be on the staff.
Well, yeah, that's a great point about Doug is, before he was with Andy Reid, he coached high school football most of the time. So he really didn't have those NFL connections up there.
Everything okay?
I think so. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what.
It's all good. We'll kind of soldier on here. So given the I guess the large amount of money that Howie is going to have to get rid of, and given the recent news that I think we had all been hoping would turn out to be more, but unfortunately isn't, John Dorsey is going over to the Detroit Lions. So now it is truly just Howie right there. How confident are you moving forward with Howie making those draft decisions?
Me, not at all. I'm not happy at all with that. I mean, I think they are going to have to get somebody else for that role. Like, you got to add some. You can't just ask Howie to. Like, I mean, I think at number 6, you're probably going to get a player there. At least you should. Even with Howie Roseman picking.
Well, I hope
where do you move to the second and third rounds?
I hope they select a player. That would be good.
Yeah, I feel like my thing with Howie Roseman is I respect him with the cap space, even though the Eagles are really, below right now. I think he's good at moving money around, but he's not a great evaluator of talent. He's not really a football guy to me. And I thought John Dorsey did that very well. And now that he's gone, it kind of puts me in this, weary mood again where I'm like, all right, great. Now I have to look forward to how we have a complete control of another draft. Maybe things will change because you just brought in a new coaching staff. But for right now, I'm not going to get too excited about the draft until I know that Howie doesn't have all the say in it.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to convince myself of is that being at 6, there are enough talented players that I would be perfectly fine with them drafting, that he can't screw it up.
Yeah.
You have 3, potential stud wide receivers. You have, 2 corners. You have a linebacker. You have an offensive tackle. You have a couple other talented positions that are up there early in the draft. And the more quarterbacks that go, the better. I would love nothing more than the first 4 or 5 picks be quarterbacks. Everybody trade up, get a quarterback. Go for it. That helps us.
Yeah, there's very little room for error, but I could see the Eagles doing something where they trade back and put themselves in that position to make a mistake by not drafting somebody that's, high talent in the first, 10 picks.
Now, I definitely feel like if there was anybody else other than Howie, if there was somebody there making those decisions that I was a little more confident about, I would love for them to trade back. Trade back like, 5 or 6, 7 spots. Guarantee you one of those corners, one of those wide receivers, maybe even Micah Parsons, somebody will absolutely fall to you. And you could pick up an extra, maybe future first, maybe an extra second, whatever. You need young talent on this team. So I would certainly be good for it, but I just don't trust Howie to not screw it up.
And that's the biggest thing. And it's a shame because, you have so many holes on that team that you want to get the most picks you can, most players that you can get in the building. But at this point, you have to take maximum value. You have to go in there with the 6th pick and, just hope for the best, that you grab one of those high talented players and it's a good pick. Yeah, no,
you definitely need to add kind of a game-changing player, regardless if it's, a corner opposite Slay, whether they actually draft a linebacker, which I would absolutely love. I'm a big proponent of having decent linebackers. It helps both front end and back end of your defense. And I'd be okay with grabbing one of those wide receivers as well. I'm just a little, skeptical given the fact that usually your first round wide receivers, if you look at the top wide receivers in the league right now, it's very few of them are first round talent.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can bring Eric back in. Maybe one last time. All right, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
I'm on the phone now. So
okay, so right now, I had asked previously, prior to the Nick Sirianni hire, given that he's in the building and who else we have here, does that change who you want at 6?
No, I still want Devontae Smith. That's the guy I look at and say he's a game changer. He takes the top off the defense, can run everything in the route tree. I really like him a lot. So that's the guy. That's the guy I wanted before because I thought he would be the guy to help bring the best out of Carson, and I still feel that way.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly. Obviously we discussed many holes on the defense, but
sure,
if you're putting all your chips into Carson, and that's what
that seems to be the theme of the offseason.
Right,
yeah.
That's what these hires are saying to me. Then it makes perfect sense to go ahead and get the best wide receiver out there. And as James alluded earlier, that seeing that maybe Miami might grab Smith early at number 3, I'd be perfectly fine with Jamar Chase at number 6.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
That would be my second wish. Yeah, if
Right.
it's not Smith, it would be then Jabbar Chase, and if he were to be gone, then it would be Waddle.
Well, see, I feel like Waddle's maybe a half step down.
Yeah,
Again, you know me, I love my linebackers. I would love nothing more than for them to trade back, let Parsons slip a little bit, pick up a couple extra picks, take the linebacker, and then grab Sante Samuel's kid in the second, and boom, your defense is transformed.
yeah, I like that. I like that thought, especially look if two quarterbacks go off 1-2. You're looking at Detroit and New England, who are both probably thinking quarterback.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking you might be able to get them to come up. And in particular, I know what Detroit's got 7, right?
Yeah.
And so you may not get a ton, but it may be more. They might be willing to give up something just to keep, a New England from jumping up ahead of them.
Yeah. But we, while you were on sabbatical there, we proposed that we don't necessarily trust Howie to trade back and still grab an elite talent and not overthink it and grab like an offensive guard, from Mississippi South Central State.
Well, look, they got a good program there, and like their offensive guards are
it's
really
offensive guard you.
That's right. It's guard you there.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Well, I got to tell you, I'm certainly excited now that the coaching staff is starting to fill out how this offseason is going to go, because free agency is right around the corner. And it's about 5 weeks away, maybe.
Yeah, 5 weeks. Yeah,
5 or 6 weeks.
I want to take a little poll of the room. I know you and I, Ryan, were kind of feeling a little down, like Doug Peterson getting fired. And knowing that it was going to be another year of Howie. Now that we've seen the hire of head coach, are we feeling better? Are we the same? Are we feeling worse?
Are you saying at the end of the year, assuming that Doug was still going to be here versus now with Sirianni still being here?
Well, I'm saying as far as how we felt the day that Doug Peterson got fired. I know I was feeling down. I didn't like the move, and I didn't like the idea of keeping Howie to name the next coach.
Well, yeah, I think we can all agree that Howie needs to go. But
I'm saying after hiring the coach and seeing, okay,
I feel better. The fact of the matter is Sirianni's 39 years old. The coordinators are like 38 and 35. It's a real young staff, which again is something that can kind of grow into.
I know we like to say that's a young age because we're right around that age.
Yeah, right. Because we're super old. I feel better. I'll leave it at that. I feel better for given the time that Doug was fired until now.
Yeah,
okay.
Doug brought the first Super Bowl to Philly. Nobody's going to take that away from him. But I saw the reports, and he wanted to promote Press Taylor as offensive coordinator, and all I have to say is no thank you to that. So anything other than Press Taylor in here.
Yeah, well, but Press officially got it will not be retained, so we don't have to worry about Press Taylor being here. He kind of went with Deuce out the door. So, yeah, no, I definitely feel better. I feel like Doug – maybe in like a few years might kind of get that Andy Reid where, when Andy first left, I think we were all like, oh, thank God, it was about time.
We had Reid fatigue, yeah.
Like this was enough. And then like 3 years later, we're like, I miss Andy. And he was a good coach. And,
I know. You see it all over the place now. Like, oh, man, Eagles shouldn't have fired Andy. Honey, were you saying that in 2012?
Well, no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm glad he's having success, and it'll be a little bit like Nick Foles to a lesser degree, obviously, because Eagles fans are still insane about Nick Foles, but obviously,
because be careful, can't say it a third time, or the masses will come out.
Folesian society will destroy us. I just feel like I wish Doug the best and whatever, but I just think it seemed like the relationship was fractured between him and Carson, him and Howie. And I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, and it's always easier to replace a coach than your franchise quarterback.
So they say. Well, I appreciate James. I appreciate you coming on with us. Hopefully, we can have you back a few times here. Why don't you tell everybody? I know I have it kind of floating around in the bottom there. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you do, about your podcast. Give yourself some time to give yourself a promo.
Well, first of all, I really do appreciate you guys having me on. I love talking football, especially the Eagles. I do run an Instagram page, it's at Fresh Prince of Philly _. And then I do a podcast on Apple and Spotify with my friend Tyler, and his @ is Eagles.fans. Fans is spelled PHANS. And I mean, yeah, that's about it. I mean, for work, I am a counselor, so I don't really work in sports yet, but I would like to someday.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you on, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you. But Eric, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming back multiple times after the system just didn't want you here.
That's right. I don't take a hint very well. Just ask any girl I ever dated.
Yeah, you clearly didn't. But appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for listening live. You can always check us out every Mondays at 6 o'clock for the Football Smack Talk show. Don't forget, though, we have a bevy of other shows on our lineup. Tomorrow, the Philly Broadcast at 6:15. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, Mike Sports. And Thursday at 9 p.m. is the TLC podcast. Always looking to kind of add more shows. So reach out, let me know. Other than that, I was going to say, James, you got any final thoughts before we head on out?
Not really. I'm excited about this new coaching staff.
All right. Short and sweet, as am I. So we'll wait and see what other coaches may get added. And then it's up to Howie to kind of get us ready for free agency, and hopefully we'll have some a little bit of money to maybe add somebody. I hope. Maybe.
That's one area. If we're going to talk about trust in Howie, that's the one area that I'll say I have some trust in Howie. He'll find the money if it's there.
He'll find it. Yeah, he'll look under the couch if he has to.
Yeah,
he'll definitely got it.
He definitely digs under the cushions. Underneath the couch. He gets right up in there. That's give him credit.
Beauty of Howie. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us here. We will see you guys next week. So for the Football Smack Talk show, I am Ryan.
I'm Eric.
I'm James.
Happy football, everybody.
All right, everybody. How many days left, Eric?
Actually, I didn't get to check my calendar because normally I'd book on my phone.
Your phone.
So, yeah.
All right, let's just say 250 days.
It's like 200. It's like 230 days.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll do the countdown next week.
It was 250 2 weeks ago, so now it's got to be.
So let's say 232.
There we go.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.